Stay tuned for episode 37. What, not funny the second time? All right. Okay, guys, welcome back. This is episode 37. I'm putting in the plugs inside the galley area here, and I used a remodel box right there, and I kind of made a little mistake here. I measured it out to 36 inches, which would have put it right at the bottom of the box right here, and made a mark on the back side at that height. Then went and hunted down my square, and by the time I got back to it, I had an old mark there that I thought was it, and it wasn't the right mark. I almost goofed up. Look at that. It almost didn't clear the countertop. Oh well. But anyway, I came over here, and we got this one cut out too. This is where I'm going to put the heavier circuit, I think, the 20 amp. And this is what a remodel box looks like if you haven't seen one before. See these little tabs here? When you tighten them up, they come out like this. This part sits to the outer wall, and this thing squeezes the box to the wall like that. And that's what holds it there. So it'll squeeze around that 3/4 inch plywood and hold it in place, and basically look like that one over there. So here it is, and the reason it's a remodel box is because you can just mount it from the outside. See? You push that in like that. It's in, and all you do, tighten that screw, tighten that one, you got a box. Now you're all ready for your electrical and your cover. So there it is. Let me get along a little bit further here, and I'll bring you guys back, show you what I'm doing. Hey, good morning, campers. I'm putting in the GFI right now, and pulled it out of the box. Looks standard like any other GFI. If you don't know how to put a GFI in, I suggest you read these instructions that come with it. But I'm going to kind of run you through it though. Here's the little unit itself. I'm going to take this thing out of here so I can show you a little closer. Okay, this is a ground fault interrupter, and you have a test button and a reset button on this. And when you put it in, what it does is it protects the circuit. So if there's any short on this side or a frayed wire or anything, even the frayed wire in the system, this will pop. It's just like a little safety breaker. And you can test it again, and you can actually push this button and reset it, and it'll start working again. But it has a power side, which is the hot. Then it has the common. Remember I was telling you about last time that the common screw is usually silver? Well, see, this one is silver, see? And look at the hot screw. It's kind of copper colored. And here's your ground up here. These ones that are covered up underneath this, you don't take them off unless you're running a second circuit off of this. If you run a second circuit off of this, it's also protected by this. So if I ran another plug someplace else in the bus and I ran it off of this particular circuit, it would also be protected just like this one is. This circuit I'm putting in right here. Well, I'm going to go ahead and put this together. There's two ways of wiring this. You can wrap your wire around here and tighten it down, or there's little holes on the back right here. And you can put the wire in there, and when you tighten it up, it squeezes down a little plate against the wire and holds it. that's the way I'm going to do it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this thing in. I'll put the hot wire on first. Now you always make sure that your power supply is off. This one has no power supply, so I really don't have to worry about it. But anytime that you're working on a electrical system, you always make sure you turn everything off. Not just the switch. Turn the breaker off. Tape it shut too, so nobody else will turn it on. Mark it. And always get these nice and tight. Okay, and since I'm using stranded wire, if I was using solid house wire, this would all just be one solid piece of copper, but this is stranded. It's got multiple strands in it. So you always have to twist it, make sure every one of those strands gets down inside of its little home here. Sometimes it takes a try or two. Especially when your eyes aren't as good as they used to be. I keep notching one little wire up. There, we got it. Okay. The top wire here, the one that has kind of a greenish hue to it, is naturally for this green ground wire. And I cut this one a little bit longer because I have to actually make a little loop out of this. Because I've got to go around this one up here. Maybe see if I can back it off a little more, give me a little more room. Oop, that's it right there. So I just have to work with it here. Get it in there the best I can. And there we have it. I'm going to try to close this loop as much as possible. And I always bend the wire the same direction as the screw's turning to tighten it. And that way it doesn't force it back out away from the screw. There. So there's the circuit. So it tucks in there like that. And I have to go find the screws to set this with. Doesn't look like the box came with any. Well, hush my mouth, here they are. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to put this cover on here, and that makes it all nice and clean and pretty. This just takes two little screws, one at the top, Okay, so there it is. It's installed. I had to put some little stainless steel screws in it there. Now, the other ones wouldn't work. They just weren't threaded for it. I guess they forgot to do it at the factory or something. That gives you a lot of confidence, doesn't it? I got to take this off a little while anyway, and I got to sand all these lines out from where I marked the for the cut. And you know, so I'm going to go ahead and put some type of finish on this cabinet. Then I'll put this little trim back on it again. Okay, so I'm going to move on over to that guy over there by the sink. You can see him, the blue one. And I'm going to string the wire for that. And I've got to also put me a couple brackets in for this circuit right here. I'll show you where it's at. I don't know if you can see under there. There's not much light, but you can see the line back there. See it? I run that armored cable, and I ran it underneath that cabinet, and it comes out right here and goes underneath right here. I'll take you outside and show you where it's at. Try not to wave you around too much here. So I came out from behind the cabinet and I went right up this right here, and it goes underneath here. Then it comes out right here, and I'm going to run it to this back wall over here, and there's the panel. I've got to run over next to Home Depot and get that the ground bus for this thing so I can hook this all together. Then I'll go ahead and get up there and run that other circuit. All right, I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. Hey guys, I'm trying to put this circuitry in over here. Somebody's not letting me. Yeah, what a weirdo. What are you doing, Rubes? You let me work? Huh? Yeah, I didn't think so. Oh, man. See this? Yeah, that was an additional $6.59 for that. It wasn't installed inside this box here. But so that's what I'm trying to do right now. And Kitty took off, so I'm going to go ahead and get with this. I'll see you guys in a minute. Okay, guys, I've got the bar in here. See, for the ground right here, and I've got these two wires right here, these green ones hooked to it, and I have the green coming from the main plug up here hooked to it. So now that's all in. I also have both of the commons attached to the bottom common bar, and there's the one that comes from the plug on the outside of the vehicle. It's right here. That's the one that comes in on the power line. And I've hooked up the wiring on both of these breakers. They snap into that and that right down here. These two clips on the back of the breaker. So all I have to do now is to snap these back down into place, and this is good to mount up. I had to build it all apart because the box was so small. There was no room to do it, so I had to pull the breakers out, wire them individually, and wire all that stuff in the box there using needle nose to be able to feed them in there. The box is kind of small and tight. Not for the faint at heart that has never done this before. It'd be kind of a tough little job for someone that didn't have a lot of experience at this. And I only have a little moderate experience at doing, this type of wiring, so it took me a little while. But I'm about ready to get that all buttoned up. I'm going to put these two breakers in it, and I'm going to mount it up there on that wall right there. I have down here at the bottom, you can see where I put the cable ties onto the bottom of the box here, and they're all tightened down so they won't pull out. And then I have both of my my lines running to, this one's running to the 20 amp and this one's going to be running to the 15 amp. And they're going to be running up there to the one by the sink and the one on the end of the sink cabinet. And I think that's the only two 110 plugs I'm going to put in this. If I need any more than that, I can run an extension off of those, or use the inverter, which is going to be right here. And I'm going to plug into that inverter there and just run a cord up there to put in like a power strip up there by this sink, and that'll be the power coming off of this. And because that's the only real place I'm going to be needing that, because everything else in this bus is going to be running on 12 volt. Trying to build a boondocking bus, something that'll be self-sufficient. So this plug-in's only for when we're found a campground or a place to plug in. You want to run some AC if it gets real hot or something. You have to find a place to plug in and do this. Or you can plug this box here into a generator. And I'm planning on putting a generator box on the back of this, so you can plug into that, and you could run off your AC with that if you're out boondocking and you're away from power. Okay, well, I'm going to get this thing buttoned up in here, and I'll be back with you guys in a minute. Yeah, he's got on me again, stopping me from working again. I guess I could just be mean and toss him on the floor. Would you, buddy? But he's insistent on sitting there. Ropes. Ropes. I'll have to sit here for a minute or two. Okay, guys. We're just trying to finish this dude up. And I need to put some clamps on this wire. I need to put these in the box, which I think I'll do now. Put them on the bottom bar first. There goes one. I'm sorry, am I in your way? And two. Okay, there's the box. Now let's see if we can get some connectors here on the wall. Make sure all this stays in place nice and solid. Here's one. Two. There. We got it in. Yeah, well, I'd like to say that was easy, but it wasn't. Maybe I'm just getting too old. I don't know. Okay, well, I'm going to call this a day on this one. And I think I've ran long enough. And we'll see you on the next episode. Good night, everybody.